Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, Explosion, joined by a new co-host.
We're both co-hosts here.
Okay, co-host here, co-host there.
Yeah,
You're a
it's
co-host.
Alan. You
Okay.
know me. If you don't know me, why the hell do you know him? No, I'm kidding. But
Pretty
you know,
much, he's not wrong. I mean, I am on the three-time champions team, but I haven't done anything with them yet. So,
just because you join a team doesn't mean you're part of what they've accomplished before
no,
you
I'm
joined.
not a part of what they accomplish at all, and we can actually get into that. Do you want to start about shit like that, like people joining better teams?
I don't know. I've always had the impression of teams kind of become they get all the best players and then it just gets into like stacked teams. I'm not saying it's bad. Teams should love a challenge, but at
You
the same
mean
time as
yeah, like how there's three super teams that are levels above almost every single team, right? Uh,
I
and
mean,
then yeah, like Rack just got Basil and Kamoli, um,
yeah, they
two
but
really really good players, right?
yeah,
And just added on to the really really good player. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like getting a good player is getting a good player. You know, like you're always going to want the best player on your team. Um,
yeah.
but I think it does become a problem when teams start taking from other teams, especially the lower ones, because they have really good players.
Well, at the end of the day, whoever's on a team, Basil or Kamali or anybody that joined any team,
Yeah,
it's at the end of the day, it's their choice whether they want to leave to join that team.
exactly. And you can't, you can't,
So
you can't
yeah, you
blame
can't
that
force
person.
anybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if they want to join a better team for their own stuff, by all means, all power to them. Like, I mean, I was talking with Basil, and he actually, I don't want to say anything and put anything in Basil's mouth, so I'll just
yeah,
leave it up for him. But it's just told him, do what you want to do. If you want to stick with TNP or now I think it's 8 Basils, all power to you. But
yeah,
if you don't, all power to you as well.
exactly. Like
So,
you can never blame the player. Obviously, you don't want
yeah.
to um take a player from their or you don't want to blame the player that's just trying to get on a better team, or just be on a different team, you know. But
Anything can happen.
one thing that I don't like um is when teams go ahead and start asking other teams in the middle of their season um to join their team. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean,
Like I think
seasons are so long. It's like
they're specific time slots. You know, they're given time slots. I think if a player wants off their team, then sure, go ahead. But if you just go ahead and give them this offer that they shouldn't reject when they were just minding their own business, I think that's something, that's not good. I think I like the way Basil handled it, where he stayed on the team for the rest of the season, as well as Kamoli, but I don't know how long that was planned. Again,
I
I'm
don't
just
know either, but
yeah. Um, but like I still think that teams are gonna always gonna get the best player if they're the best team. Um, and I guess we can really move on to who we think are the top five best players going
top
into that.
5.
I think I already have my list here.
All right, what's your top 5, and I'll build on that.
So my top five right now is I guess we can go. I don't. Are we gonna go in order or just whatever order? Like
Just
just
go in
name.
order, just whatever you
In
think.
order, I'd say Chill Step, Meaty One, Matt H,
Yeah.
um, Tarmac, and then this fifth one is a little hard for me, but I would probably have to say it's between Kraken, Basil, or what's Psykillo? I think that's
Yeah, I
how you
think that's
pronounce
his
it,
name.
right? Three really really good players. Uh, but I think Tarmac and Meaty Ones, IGLing as well as their gun capabilities just put them miles above those players. Matt H, obviously a no brainer, the best EU player there is. Um, Right now, as far as I'm concerned, he's on the best team, so obviously he got a lot more eyes on him. There can definitely be a better EU players out there, but currently, with the current skill, he is the best EU player. And then
Yeah,
of course you have Chillstep, who is literally considered the best player, of course. Um, you know, always called out for hacking from this person or that person. I think it's undoubtable that he has to be number one right now.
yeah. I mean, I don't. Me personally, I think that like when it comes to defining like the best player, like no player can really have that mantle, you know? Because like sure they might be the best at certain things. They might be the best hell maybe at everything. But at the end of the day, everyone has their flaws, whether it's mental or skill. It's just everybody has their own stuff. Like for me, it's like sure I'm good with revolver and AK, but if I was using an AUG or like an M4, probably not. You know.
yeah,
And I think same goes for most players. Like if it was like, but I mean for S&D wise, yeah, I think what you listed were pretty good for like, for a list. I mean,
yeah,
but at the end of the day, if you have like for S&D though, for like VRML, you also need to have like, team composition. You can't just have all the best players and expect them to do amazing because not all of them get along
well,
or they
yeah, but
use the same type of person.
I don't mean like the five best players like who would be on like if there was to be the super team, right? I don't mean that because that's almost impossible. You have to take into account um who works well with who. Some players might hate other players. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that you have to take into account there.
Yeah.
But I do think when it comes to ranking people in order who just has better skills, who usually comes out on top, I think those five um
Yeah.
are definitely it.
Now I'm gonna do something similar with my top five, except not. So I'm gonna do the best that I personally think are the best to play with and to have fun with and to like do interesting things, you know? So I
Okay.
think probably one would be Basil. Basil is fun as
Yeah.
hell, and he's found his way into like using the 50 cal. But he's not just good with 50 cal. If you give him like most other weapons, he can do great with them, you know. But
Yeah.
it's not just about that. He's honestly really fun to play with, and it's just great. Number two, probably like Snoopinator. Snoopinator is really
Oh
fun.
God,
Like
don't even get
his
me
his
started.
nade his nade game is on point, man. It's
Oh
just it's
yeah.
just good. Yeah.
For
Um.
context out there, Snoopinator or Snoopinator, however you want to, he changed his name to Nader, I think recently. Is
Snoopinator. Yeah.
probably one of the most well-known players when it comes to not wanting to be around the bomb after you kill him, because he
Yeah.
will
He'll just
always
drop a nade.
he'll just hold on to a nade, hold one hand, and you're like, oh, he's shit at the game. Like, he couldn't even kill me, and he had advantage. And then you run on to defuse the site, and he fucking blows you up with a grenade.
Yeah, I got respect him for that. It's like with me with the revolvers. It's like people give me shit like, why don't you just try hard every match? And I'm like, no, I don't like playing that way.
Yeah,
And then other you can remember Pagani? It's kind of you have to be a
Pagani.
little OG to remember that.
Okay,
But I
okay,
remember
yeah,
back when Pagani was like used to be used as like a baseline, like it was like how many Paganis are you? It
yeah,
was also I think it was a mix of like because I don't know, he like always used to hide if I remember
yeah.
correctly. I haven't seen him around recently, but I think he's definitely in my list for like top
I
tier like unique playstyles.
Yeah,
Uh,
I played with him the other day, actually, like last week. His ping was out of this world, way worse than it usually
yeah.
is. But yeah,
Someone
Pagani,
worse though?
somebody on G5.
No, I remember Sexcopter. Remember that
Oh,
guy?
okay, okay.
That's probably
He has something wrong with his like his internet. Like that doesn't.
yeah. But I gotta be honest with you, he did dual wield AKs, and I respect anybody who dual wields anything. All right,
Okay,
so he was a big inspiration for me for the dual wielding AKs. Okay, like when I
okay.
saw him dual wield when I was like I haven't seen him in like a year, but he was one of my inspirations for dual wielding AKs. And another fifth one would probably be Reggie or Registray.
Yeah,
He's the one who
That's
really
awesome.
made me want to start dual wielding. He dual wield double barrels back when I started playing like a year or two ago, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, how can I do that? But double barrels are so close range. What if I make something farther? And I originally started dual wielding deagles, but then I was like, that's boring. I'll dual wield revolvers, and yeah, that's what I'm known for. So aside
Yeah.
from that, I'm like known as the thrower or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's because of
Sure.
that. But you know, it's I don't know. That's probably my top five.
Yeah. I notable top five. Something that I wanted to get into that you had to just bring up in the middle of your whole thing because the sex there. You're dual wielding. I think you are
Yeah.
most known. Anybody that is watching this podcast knows you and they know about your dual wielding. Do you want to get into to how dual wielding really started? Because I you said sex
Um,
but
yeah, so I remember the first time I saw like Sexcopter, or I think before that I saw Reggie first, and I saw how he would destroy people with like, and this is back when I had like 100, 200 hours or whatever, right? So I knew how to play the game, but I wasn't like good enough to like really compete with anybody, right? So what happened was he would just obliterate me. He would go around the corner, shoot two off, and then reload them in like a second, and then it was very intense. And I saw Sexcopter do with AKs and just go around headshotting people. I was like, maybe I could do that. So and I didn't want to do double barrels because I thought that was a little cheeky. At close quarters are instant kill, but far away you're screwed, right? And then AKs and revolvers kind of fit my. I just like it. I like the. I always like weapons that one tap on
yeah.
headshot because I feel like if it you gain that kill if you shot them in the head, right? That's why I really don't like M4 Zogs or Famas's or
Yeah,
whatever,
I
other med.
completely agree with you. That's why the AK is my main to go to weapon because
It
you
does have its trade-offs, though, right? Like
yeah,
an
it's
AK, it has slower fire rate, slower DPS, all that stuff. But honestly,
yeah.
I don't care about that. If I can shoot them in the head and I watch their head explode, all good
I
with
mean,
me. So,
yeah, exactly. I know
yeah,
some of the most notable kills that I've gotten are against 50 cal people sitting in cash middle or cash tree room, and I'm going to rotate, and I'll get the headshot on them, completely obliterating their one shot anywhere weapon. Like
yeah,
it's most useful there in those moments where you're headshotting the people that are the most deadly, and it stops them, it shuts them down, and I think that's why the AK is one of the best weapons in the entire game if you're good
yeah,
at it.
it's yeah. But but anyways, back to it. I just started doing that, and then eventually I was like, I really got into the mood where I want to start making videos. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be like the next Pavlov, like big Pavlov, and I was like, I eventually lost into that. I hate editing, and like but I started making videos, and like when I did my first, I think it was like Quickest Draw in the West or whatever. That was like first one that kind of blew up a little bit. Uh, I just started rolling with it, and eventually I just liked it because I don't do it because I know it's going to get me kills or because it's like, going to be the best meta, OP, whatever stuff. I do it because I like doing it.
Yeah.
And when people say, "Oh, you're throwing," I'm like, "No, I'm just having fun." There's technically a difference, you know.
Yeah,
But
sure.
yeah.
I get that. Could you tell me how long it really took you to get good at dueling? How long do you think it took you? How many hours?
Well, I think anybody can do look, just like any weapon. If you start off with a weapon, you start to use it a little bit. Like 50 cal, when that was first released, everybody sucked with it, right? Sure, you could get a kill with it and all that, but like eventually people started getting the muscle memory for reloading.
Yeah.
But and then you got people like Basil or just anybody else, who
Basil,
start reloading it
Shadow,
quickly.
other notable
Yeah,
players. Yeah.
anybody. Yeah, I remember Shadow used to be awesome with the op. Like he could bolt in like half a second, right? or
Yeah.
probably a quarter or whatever. And so once you start learning to do it with Barrett, yeah. But like I think with dual wielding though, I wouldn't say it's necessarily harder. It's just like it's 90% muscle memory. Like once you get it down, all you do, like at least the way I do it, like people would hold it up like this, right, and have them like cross over and angle them to 45 degrees, like to the side. And I personally, I'm not for that because I'm like, look, all that is, it's essentially like you have a rifle right here, but then you just
Yeah.
have two things. So it's essentially shooting the same spot. For me, I like shooting it from the hip because it looks cool, and shooting it like from side, like boom, 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 boom. So, you know, I don't do it because it gets me more kills. If honestly, if I want to, I can just hold it out like this, not together because I think that's banned. It's kind of stupid, but just
Yeah.
to the side and shoot like that. I can do that, and I can go like close to medium range with that. Like hip fire though, it's just I just like doing it, you know. And honestly,
Sure.
like anything, once you get enough time with it, you got it. You get it. Like seriously,
Exactly.
somebody just yeah. I think it took me. So I started dual wielding like really started dual wielding probably 600 hours, and right now I'm at 1200 hours. I really like really started trying like doing it for past like 300 to 400 hours. So yeah, I play the game for 400 hours just dual wielding, and you got it. So
That's it. That's it. You know, it says
yeah,
it takes you 10,000 hours to master anything, but this man did it in 400. So, you
I
know.
thought it was like 100 hours, and now not to master something, but definitely to be good at it. And I
Well, yeah.
think yeah, once you get it down, it's not too hard. Like it's just like any other gun, just instead of one gun, it's two guns, and you do double the damage and double the recoil. You know, that's what I say. So
I mean,
yeah,
it works. It's kind of like it has its trade-offs with like the AK, you know? Like you have
yeah,
that one headshot, but it's you know, it's got its lower
yeah.
or lower fire rate and it's a higher
I gotta
recoil.
be honest with you though. The only reason I don't shoot like if you're gonna start dual wielding, don't shoot them both at once. Sure, you might say, oh yeah, it does double the damage, right? Well, unless it's a revolver, and that's like only do it if it's a revolver and it's one person. Because if you shoot like boom boom, like one with the right, one with the left, by the time your left is like just shot, your right one is going to be ready to shoot. So you can just boom 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 boom, and then you're essentially shooting in the same target with a zero recoil. Sure, you have to get like in the rhythm. You know, each gun has rhythm. Like Deagle, Deagle actually I feel has more recoil one-handed than revolver one-handed, but Deagle has less recoil when it's two-handed. You know, so like I don't know. And I also like one-handing weapons. Like same thing with that. It's just when you're originally when I first started doing it, like you can see with some of my older videos, like I would hold it and my hand would just shake, you know. But now I can just hold it out and it like barely shakes. I mean
Yeah.
now I don't know. I've had a little bit of coffee, so maybe not. But when I'm like really warmed up and you hold it out, you can hold it pretty straight and just hold the iron sights like solid, you know. Like in real life, you can't do that because the gun's heavy. But in this, like controller's like not even like a quarter of the pound or whatever. You could
Yeah.
probably a lot less, and you could just hold it out, no issue. So
Sure.
yeah, yeah, that's
Um
about it.
the only thing I've ever notably gotten good at dual wielding is the FAMAS. And I don't know, I shouldn't really be saying this, so if you're paying Mr. Pringles, just turn the other way real quick.
Okay,
So with
dueling FAMAS. It's
dual wielding,
very
it's very easy.
yeah at
It's
close
not
quarters.
hard. Exactly, right?
Yeah,
Because how I found this out is having like a nade and going to throw it and then somebody's right in front of me and I just started pulling down as hard as I could and I realized like I was
yeah,
overcompensating, but again, like I got that
yeah.
kill. I was like, wow, I'm
You get
doing
it.
this and I
You
did
get
it
used
again.
to it.
Yeah, and so when you dual wield it, very expensive dual wielding, it's not as expensive as the dual wielding AKs. Um but you know, it definitely works. It shreds. If you hit your bullets, if you hit your thing, you get good at it. It
Yeah.
shreds. Mr. Pringles, you're allowed to come back now. Anyway, um, so speaking of the FAMAS, there's been a little murmur around that some people want it nerfed. Or do you think it should get nerfed or no?
Honestly, I don't really care to be honest because like with the FAMAS, like I always say, look, every weapon has its drawbacks. FAMAS has its drawbacks. M4 has drawbacks. AK has its drawbacks. Op, Barrett, anything, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think like I don't really like. Sure, things should like once in a while should be balanced. But at the end of the day, like with the Barrett removing the little red dot to it,
Yeah.
I mean, I used it like once when I first tried it, and then I was like, yeah, this is kind of cheap. But at the same time, if you just know how to point shoot, you just point and shoot. That's legitimately all it is. That's like half of dual wielding right there. It's just, it's essentially the same thing. You don't even most people like that I know don't even use a scope. They just point and shoot. That's how I shoot with at least with the Barrett, you know. And like with
Mm-hmm.
FAM, that's the same thing. Most people don't aim down those me personally atrocious sights, but most people just follow the tracers or they know like how much to pull down when they shoot. I'm like, yeah, it's the same thing with any other gun. If you, I honestly, you know, it's like a game of honor. You know, like people can use a red dot 50 or like now I guess just 50, right? Doesn't make them a worse or better player right, by any means. It's just what they use. And I feel if people are pissed off at dying with something that's used by a person and they got good at it, you shouldn't. I personally, I don't think it should be nerfed. So
Yeah. I don't think it's nerfed, and I think the biggest problem is that people don't know the difference between an overpowered weapon and a weapon that people got good with. Um,
Yeah.
I think sure the FAMAS it's at its price might be a little like it might be a little too good for its own good in its certain price range. I think maybe upping the price might be a way to go.
Well,
But
okay, well think about
but
this though. So that FAMAS has a kill bonus reward, right? Or like it doesn't.
yeah,
And then when you put suppressor you lose it, right? So
exactly.
for, at least competitively, when it comes down to it, you're spending such a low amount of money, but you're getting no money back. So if you're spending a bunch more money and you get no money back, you're gonna start losing money much quicker, and then people are still gonna use it. Like people,
Yeah, no matter
with the
what you do
AUG,
to
like
it,
the AUG got nerfed, but people still use the AUG,
yeah,
which I don't know. I've never liked those AUGs, M4s, or any of that, so I don't really use them. But
yeah.
you know, no matter what you do, if you nerf it to the ground, people won't use it. Like, have you ever seen a P90 used in SMD? Aside from a
Um,
meme, aside from any of that. Like,
yeah,
all,
no,
like,
exactly.
serious.
No.
Same with, like UMP, you know? Apparently they added, like, tracers. I don't know. I don't really, like, for me, the only time you really follow tracers is when you're dual wielding, or when you're, like, shooting, like, point shooting. That's it. But if you're, like, aiming down sights with an AK, it's just, you don't really need
I
tracers, per se.
if you've seen the tracers, I think you know that they're
But
they're
just because they're
ridiculously
bigger or
good.
anything, people like I remember before people could still like I would shoot the FAMAS and you can still see the tracers just fine. It's just sure it makes it easier to follow tracers, but at the same time it's still just tracers. If eventually people won't even need the tracers because they just have the memory to shoot it in the
Yeah.
right way. It's just muscle
Um.
memory, you know.
Back
So let's
back.
change the recoil. Yeah,
Yeah. Back to what I was saying though. Um. Like um you can't really stop people from using it. This is exactly you said that you beat me to it. Um. But the FAMAS is not the easiest weapon to use. Yes, its recoil is very easy to control. Um, but on a lot of maps, they have long angles. They have head peaks. And you using a FAMAS cannot stop a head peak. You can, right? It's possible. But it's very hard and it's not easy to get good with.
yeah.
Against a head peak.
And
And
I think it's like similar thing with the Barrett though, because like I tried using the Barrett. I personally dislike it. I don't
yeah,
like using it, but I've tried, and I'm like, yeah, it's harder than it looks. Maybe with the red dot, yeah, it was definitely easier, but at the same time, it's still a kind of a hard weapon. Like once you get the reload down, it's not just the reload. If you can reload in half a second, sure, you might get one or two shots before you die. If you miss your shot, you're screwed. I think it's
exactly.
better than how it was with the op before, because like
It had
op
five.
before you could like boom, boom, boom. It's just shot after shot.
Exactly.
But now with the Barrett, you actually kind of have to reload. Every shot. And
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty decent balance.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can't just remove it or ban it from league. People use it, and I don't think people should be restricted on what they use unless it's like I personally I wasn't even like that for like the red dot on Barrett thing because I'm like, even though I didn't use it, I hate getting killed by it, but I'm like, I know at the end of the day, it's just putting a little scope. If people don't use a scope, they'll just cant it or they'll point shoot.
Well,
It's a
it
little
wasn't
harder,
that. It
but
was it was literally just a dot that said like here you go. There was no magnification, so you could clearly see. You could see
yeah.
all around you. You didn't have to aim in all the way that like people do with their sensor VR headsets. I know that the Reverb and the Rift S
Well, you can do look
tries to
just
make it
because there's a
similar.
red dot there. You can do the same thing without the dot. You just mentally or like muscle
Mentally,
memory, you
sure,
get down to.
but
It makes
you
it
don't have to
easier.
use muscle memory if you like the point was is it made it too easy. If it's always
Yeah,
too easy, it's not competitively viable in most people's eye. Um I
I don't know.
think
Yeah,
yeah, so we're both in agreement it really shouldn't be nerfed.
I
Now
guess. Yeah,
with the current buffs and nerfs, the current changes, there's the you played Pavlov recently I saw, so you know
I
about
was playing it
it.
this morning, so
So you saw the nade changes, you saw the AUG change, and you
yeah.
saw the AK-12 change. I really want to get your opinion on the nade changes because I think
I
it's
think a
the
nade change is good.
biggest
I
thing.
think like before, if somebody cooked a nade and they knew how to throw it, like Snoopy, for example, like Snoopinator, he still does it now. But like people say, you can't cross map anymore. You can still kind of cross map, on certain maps. You can still chuck it pretty far. But now there's actually at close quarter, you can't just lob it and make it go at Mach 10 and explode on impact,
Yeah,
Because I used to do it where you could, or a lot of people did, where you just cook it. You would mentally just from experience know, okay, now, and I throw it, and then you throw it into whatever place, it explodes, does a lot of damage, or kills a bunch of people. And
exactly.
now it's a lot. I just like it. And plus, it's a lot more realistic. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Sure. I agree. Now, some people, and I think I agree with it, but the way Dave is looking at it, Dave Vills, the person that makes Pavlov, I I think he is going one step further. He's right there. He almost hit it on the dot. But he said 5 nades minimum per team,
Oh, per
and
team.
per team. And so what would end up happening is someone would buy 5 grenades or five just util, right? And I think we
Hmm.
use the word like grenades so freely is that we don't think about how all of them are grenades, right? Um,
Yeah.
and so what
So
ends up
wait, you mean like frag grenade, smoke grenade,
well,
and flash grenade, or just
he wasn't
frags?
specific, and that's why it's really hard, and that's why I said like people don't use the term grenade. They use it so freely they think that it only means the HE grenade, which is the one
Yeah,
that explodes,
I,
right?
I do agree that having five, a person can have 5 grenades on them, 5 frag grenades, and just chuck them, and have and you have a lot more chance to hit somebody with a cross map. Me personally, I think you should limit the amount of nades. Maybe limit it down from, you know,
5 to 3 is what I heard.
5. I think you should be able to hold 2 here and only 1 in your hand. You can't hold 2 nades in your hand. I think they should make it where, or well, that might be a little limiting. I think you can hold 2 nades in your hand, but only make it where you can holster 2. So you can only have max of 4. I think minusing by 1 and limiting how much of each type of util you can buy per player. So you can only buy maybe 1 or 2 frags. You can only buy you can only buy a limit of maybe 3 nades max of all kinds, and you can only buy 2 of the same kind of nade.
Yeah. See,
So
I agree with the 2. I think you should have 3 on your holster, and what you would happen is that you can only buy 2 per thing, meaning that you can only get so many, right?
yeah, because I think in
I
CS:GO,
think grenades should be limited to 1 because what ends up happening is they buy 2 nades, they have 10 nades. Those are 10 possibilities of without any way of countering or anything. There is no shields, there is no walls, there is no regain health. There's 10 possibilities of you just dying and not being able to do anything. And I think if they limit it down to 1, that's 5. Now, that might be a little less, but I think that the nade's damage maybe to armor should do a little less, but its current state with its throwing capability is completely fine. I think the amount though is completely and utterly horrible, and a lot of teams, or not a lot, but a few teams will fight to be able to have as many as possible because their main thing is grenades. And I'm not calling out Omega being one of the people defending the whole keeping the nades thing, but Omega biggest part about them is their nades. Their nades, if you saw an Inferno in the final Challenger Cup, or not Challenger Cup, what was it called? Um no, it was called the Challenger Cup. Yeah, I'm sorry. In the Inferno on the Challenger Cup, old Penguins just got, excuse my French, fucked by their grenades. I saw a few clips. I didn't see the whole game, but I saw the few clips and they were destroyed. And that's because Omega practiced nades. So they were one of the few teams that were utterly disgusting with it. Okay?
yeah, and I don't think you should call them discuss. Everybody figures out their own strategy. Like when I was on Black Ice and I was captain of that, I really wanted to hammer down aggression, even though honestly it might not be the best thing to be aggressive every round. Honestly, I'm not that good at being IGL. Sorry for everybody I was on Black Ice with, but it I just thought, everybody has their own set strats, So what if you disrupt it? And grenades are a good way to do that. Everybody sets up, okay, I'll have this guy I'll have this guy on firebox, this guy on ticket, that guy on stairs, one up mid and one on B or something like that, for an ace stack. And on Mirage. And then, you have your guy on ticket, and then suddenly he gets naded, and then suddenly your guy's smoked off on on stairs, and then firebox gets flashed. That's how you disrupt a play. And I think you shouldn't limit like necessarily how much, but people need to be more strategic, but not like limit it to such an extent.
Yeah,
Like, sure, I think there should be a limit on having like 5 nades. Of course, that costs $3,000, right? So your economy has to be pretty good. You should already be steamrolling them, but or at least have enough economy to do that.
yeah,
Um, and at the same time, it's like I think they should be a limit, but not too limiting. So it
yeah,
still has a lot of util play, and util is very important.
yeah.
Just like in every other game.
It
So
needs to be balanced. But right now it's the scale is tipping upwards for nades. It needs to be in the middle. But
I mean,
going on to Black Ice, I kind of want to get into that. Why did you leave Black Ice? What was going
um,
on there?
like they're great people. They're one of the funnest teams I've been on. Funnest isn't a word or whatever, I know, but like, or is it? I don't know. I think it is,
The most
but
fun. You would say that
it's
you
the
had the
most
most
fun.
fun on
It's the
that team.
most fun team I've ever been on. There's some of the great. They're great people, right?
Mhm.
But honestly, at that time, I had my duct taped, very hard to get on headset, which he'll probably show the
Yeah,
photos
we'll
right
we'll
about
we'll we'll, we'll flash them right
yeah,
on
it,
screen.
it it just gets worse and worse and worse and so much worse. And honestly,
I
I
hope
would
you
like
have
get a
that
heat
many
stroke.
photos for each worst you just used.
I want you like worse, 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 and just edit the photos like that, right?
Yeah.
And but it just got to an extent where I'd get like a heat, and this was like in the summer in Arizona. Okay, it's like very hot. Okay, and it's just like I just got a headache whenever I played. I just was so unmotivated to play because like having to duct tape myself into a headset is just it's not fun. Okay, and then aside from that, I was like, you know, I just don't like League wasn't really enjoyable anymore. I guess it wasn't because I was losing a lot. It wasn't because of any of that. I think we lost a couple, but we always lose a couple. We always won a couple. We lost a couple. It's whatever. But I think mainly it's just it wasn't fun anymore. I used to have a lot of fun, especially back when I was like on Infamous or Unicorn or that little when I was on Testudo for that little point. Like, it was all fun. But eventually it just got boring. It got too like, you had to play this way. You couldn't there wasn't any room. And if you didn't play that way, like, like dual wield revolvers, people like gave you shit for it, right? So
Yeah. Sure.
I just got kind of bored of that. And
I
I mean
mean,
I do
that's fair.
I don't know.
There are teams out there that are only fun. You have
Yeah.
those teams that don't really care about winning as long as you all are having fun.
Yeah, and
Um,
I was gonna see if I could join one of those, but I don't really
so
know.
you're interested in getting back into
Yeah,
League? Yeah.
yeah, but not really in like like I don't
Well,
know. Back when I was on like I'd say actually when I was on
yeah.
Unicorn, also one of the funnest teams I've ever been on. A lot. I don't want to say less serious than Black Ice, but they're a lot more like chill. They're a lot more. Not saying Black Ice wasn't chill, but they're a lot like if Black Ice was like ice, um, Unicorn was like a giant block of like dry ice. That stuff like if you touch it, you'd instantly get like frostbite. That type of chill, like very chill.
Yeah.
And but at that time, this was like a year almost. Yeah, probably. I guess yeah, it has been about a year and a half or something. It's been a while. And back then, I must have been at like 600 or 500, 600 hours. And back then, I wanted to be like, I want to be the best. I want to like, I would look at Chill Step and Mad and all those people and be like, I want to be like them. I want to be the best. Now I've been past that. I don't. It's no, but you know, I I wanted to be better, so I had an offer from Yakuza. This is back when I was in contact with Mr. Patty, if you
Yeah.
remember him.
Team
He
100 Yakuza.
yeah, Yakuza 100, all that. So I joined that. Uh, I guess I still didn't take it too seriously, and they like kindly requested that I leave, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly. But this was like a year ago, and anyways, that happened, and like I don't know, I don't know, it's all kind of a blur, but honestly, after that, I had like a mix. I wanted to have fun, but I also wanted to try.
Yeah,
And
you want
eventually,
to.
at my current state, I don't want to like. It's not that I don't want to try. I still like winning, but it's not my priority per se. You know,
Yeah,
like
I think
priorities is fun. You know.
I think that whoever, like it's not wrong to have either. Like if you want to win,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Something that's my personal thing, and that's we can get into later the whole thinking thing with me joining it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's completely fine to want both. But I also think that some people need to realize what team they're on and the people they're surrounded by. Because, like you
Yeah.
said, you joined Yakuza and they asked you to leave kindly, right? Um,
Well, it kindly was one way to phrase it, but
they
um,
they just didn't want you on the team because they all they wanted to do was win, right?
yeah, it was something along that. Yeah.
Up down, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, and you wanted to win, but if you weren't having fun, it wasn't worth it. So
Yeah.
like
Like even if I stayed on that team, I probably wouldn't have stayed on there for long. I was back. I think there was Murray, Patty, Vert, Jeek, Shackle, a few others. Now, not saying any of
Big
those
Slaps and
are
Bojack.
yeah, yeah, and like all those guys, like they get a lot of shit from a lot of people. But honestly, I like being on good terms with everybody, and I think everybody has their flaws, but everybody has their positives. You know, everybody has something. You know, like people give you a lot of shit for saying that you get angry at every match, and which might be true to a certain extent in like certain things, but it's not every match. It's not. I mean, that's an over exaggeration. You know,
I mean, yeah,
you're a great person. You have a lot of good qualities, but you also have everybody has their bad qualities. I have my bad qualities. You have your bad. Everybody does. So like,
yeah,
you know, and with Yakuza, back then I thought it was a cool thing to do, and like, I want to be on the best team. They're like a gateway into getting into the better team. But after that happened, I guess that idea started sticking. Like, it's a game, and you don't really earn money off of it. And what's the point of playing? Like, if you're just playing to win and you lose, you shouldn't beat yourself up like to the extent of like, you know, just getting like super like zone. Like, I could have done better. I could have done that. It's like, what's the point? It's just a game. Like, I get it if it's a profession. If you earn money on it, you want to do that because that's it's your life. But right now, VR is so early. There isn't really any point to it. So I just don't understand people getting so serious, like to such an extent. Like, of course, if you want to get better at the game, all for you. But if you take a loss so badly that you like, not speaking for anybody specific, but like, if you take a loss badly that you're like, you get sad or you get angry or you get like, I get getting like a little angry, a little sad, but sometimes it's just
it's a
why?
little too
It's like,
much.
what's
You
the
you
point? It's
go
just a game.
overboard. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just a game.
I
You know?
get that. Going with like the whole like me being angry and whatnot. I'm not gonna defend any time that I've ever been angry, right? At the end of the
Yeah.
day, like you said, it's just a game. I think it matters. The game matters to me a lot more. And people don't really get that, and that's completely understandable. People don't need to understand why I care so much about the game.
No,
Um,
I feel if you really care for something, if that be whether that be your real life job to a collection of toy cars, it's whatever you do in your free time, your hobbies, your whatever you do in your free time. It's just like, if that's what you really like enjoying, by all power, like do it, defend it, and have fun doing it. But once again, people can say the same thing about gambling or alcohol. Not saying
yeah,
this is like that, but I'm saying like people have fun and do that, but there's also negatives.
yeah,
And if you have a bad relation with those things, like if you constantly get like you didn't constantly get angry from this, you didn't by any
no,
means, nothing of that. It just happened once in a while, and like it's healthy. You need emotions in your life, right? You can't just be a
exactly.
stagnant nothing. But if you just if it constantly happens and it just makes you angrier and angrier and angry, it's just an endless loop. I don't think it's honestly the best option to think of it that way, and that's coming from a
Yeah,
person that's kind of how I worked for a little bit,
yeah.
or like for a long part of my life, like not
I
just Pavlov and
I
everything,
mean,
and
yeah,
it's,
we could get into that later because
sorry,
that's a question that I do want to ask you about.
yeah,
But for now, going back to what I was saying, there was a point in time, where I really, really, really wanted to join thinking, and we can get into the origin of that in just a few moments. But so bad that I was like, I don't want to get angry anymore. I don't want to do it. It's bad. It's bad for my team, one, and it's bad for me if I want to get on team thinking. I was like, it mattered so much to me at that point that I decided that I would not get angry no matter what. And I went ahead, took a nap before a game against Team NP, now known as 8 Basils, and we were up 8-3, and we lost 10-9 on Reach Sky, and I didn't have a second thought about it. It didn't matter that
Good.
much. I did well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter.
People.
And but
Yeah.
the thing is, the next game, same thing happened. I didn't get angry, not even a bit, not even the slight, right? Didn't think about it. But the thing is, people don't care. They don't. That people know me for being the angry guy. They think of me as the explosion of emotions. And I'm not here to get all sappy or say like, "Oh, I get bullied. I get all like, like people like to talk shit and make fun of you." There's toxic people in this league. This league has toxic people, right?
Everything has toxic people in it, no matter what you do.
Exactly. Exactly. But as soon as I don't get angry, no one says anything to me. No one at all. And as soon as I get angry again one time, just because I'm frustrated and I've let it build up or something like that, or I've just had a shitty day, people instantly point it out. And
I used to be like seriously in middle school. That was exactly how it went. Like for me at school, like I just get like I'm not exactly like that, but it's
yeah,
just like I like more. I guess like recently, like as I've grown older, I started to realize like it's honestly when you change, people start noticing it. But like with your angry example, sure, people aren't gonna like think about it. If somebody is known for getting angry a lot, and then all of a sudden they're not angry for a little bit, they won't say, "Oh, hey, you weren't angry today. That's good." They won't go like that. And it's just people start noticing things over time. If you slowly change that over time, you don't give it a week, don't give it a month, give it like a while. Okay,
yeah.
people are gonna slowly edge away from that. I used to be known as being like super
Alan
annoying, which hell, maybe I still am,
Alan used
but
to be known as Alan is toxic,
yeah,
and
that used to be my name. I used to
here's the
live
story
by
behind
that,
it.
okay? I used to be I used to be very toxic. Not just in like games, I'd be toxic everywhere. I'd just be like I guess it's like edgy, And I was like instead of like edging away from it, and pun not intended or whatever, I I I kind of lived by it. And eventually I just kind of I wouldn't say I grew bored of it. I just kind of got, just I just didn't like doing it, so I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm not gonna annoy people anymore. I'm not gonna do any of that, and I
You
just
didn't
stopped. And then
you didn't
people
see the
didn't
point.
appreciate it. Not that I was looking for appreciation. I did it for my own, for helping myself, not for helping anybody else. Now I don't really give a shit what anybody else thinks. Like if I want to change, it's for my own good, not because anybody else forced me to.
Yeah,
So I don't know. That's just me stuff, but yeah.
sure. I mean, and I get that, right? That's that's a big thing to do in your life. It's very hard, and coming from someone that knows exactly what it's like. Well, not the whole toxic part. I try to be a nice person, but when I get
Yeah.
angry, I'm angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm always trying to be a pleasant person. I never just randomly just say, "Well, fuck you" and all this shit. I do try
Yeah.
to do all the
Yeah, I
pleasant
used to be
stuff.
that type of person. And like
Yeah,
honestly, I didn't change because like other people necessarily caused me to change. I changed because like
it was for the
I don't even
better.
know why I changed. I just wanted to, it was just
Yeah,
affecting me. It started affecting me like the fact that it just, it wasn't a healthy way to live, So
exactly.
I just moved past it.
Sure.
And yeah.
So,
So
moving on from that topic, that was a great way to really get
a
into that.
deep, meaningful,
Yeah, deep, meaningful.
emotional,
We're gonna
you know.
we're gonna actually talk about something that Alan told me today that not a lot of people know about. And
Wait, what did I say?
so
Should I
the
stream this?
no
Or
no
like
no,
what?
we can cut this if you want, but the X cap. Can we talk
Oh
about that?
yeah,
So not
yeah,
before
yeah.
Alan gets into that. Um, Not many people know that there's actually a meaning behind XCAP. I didn't even know until a few hours ago.
Well, I think it's
Um,
mainly because there's a lot of new blood, and like honestly,
yeah,
people don't really get into it a lot
yeah, no one
because there
really
isn't really
cares.
necessarily a need to. It's just and also out of respect for the guy, and I don't really want to like get into it. If it's just that some guy like I used to be on Infamous, right? This was like 2 years ago, and he I mean, honestly, I didn't know him that well, but like XCat, and this I don't remember much, but like XCat, I remember Patty was really affected by this. But like he I was talking like we were just it was team stuff. We had a couple games, and then I think I joined like after I joined maybe like a month, maybe 2 months after I joined. They I think AU he used to be the leader of Infamous, or was it
Yep,
Patty, one of them?
it was AU.
But XCap's brother went in and and informed everybody that he apparently you know he he passed away, and I was a different person back then to a degree. I didn't believe it for the first little bit, to be honest, because I guess just like a state of grief or whatever. But like I don't know, it's just I kind of moved past it, and I remember the guy from Manor or whatever made a memorial for him, and that's a call out now, which
Foxy.
I have a little mixed feelings on the fact of the dead guy having a call out on a map, but it's maybe it's a good thing. I don't know, but
I
yeah,
I think it's a because personally, like someone who didn't know about it before, because the only thing I had
yeah,
heard, and I put two and two together, I put dots together. I remember a Discord message, people talking about there being some sort of funeral for something that I had no idea about. I was around when Infamous was around, but I wasn't like the Discord reader, like where I read almost every single message and remember almost every single thing that is said in the Discord.
yeah,
But back then I saw that there was a funeral, and Infamous had sent Infamous colored flowers and whatnot, and I thought that was really cool of them. I was like, oh, someone's like one of the teammates people died, like their close friends or family or something, and I thought that was really respectful. And I kind of just said like, oh, like I feel bad for that person. I don't know who it is, and I really don't want to bring it up because, in my honest opinion, when someone close to them dies, it shouldn't really be brought up a whole lot in front of them, especially when
yeah,
someone's asking why you're sad or something like that. And that's why a lot of times, if someone died, that one of my friends, like close family members or something, dies, and somebody asks about it, I'll tell them instead of saying you should ask that person themselves, because I don't think it should be brought up. They should have time to
yeah,
grieve and not interfere. But I think uh coming from personally, I think it's a great way to really remember him, um, because there's graveyards and whatnot, and there's always those headstones, and it says their name and whatnot,
yeah.
but you never knew who they were, right? And
Yeah,
so
like
it's
you
just
don't know
another
who I
it
am. You don't
e-
know. It's just
exactly
another. Yeah,
exactly it's another gravestone, right? But it's there. It memorializes them
yeah,
forever.
and I think it was good because like from what I remember from him, he really liked the team. He really came to every practice. He was like one of the only guys that came to practice like every day, or like every time we had a practice, if I remember correctly. And it's just I remember I don't remember like what the message said or whatever, but the brother said like he'd always like talk to his family about that's the only reason the brother contacted us. And it's just like it's just interesting to see what like effects we have on people. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to say that like I could have like helped out or I could have like changed what happened because what's happened.
yeah,
But what definitely it's kind of I don't know, it's like bittersweet, because it's like, and I'm sweet, it's just like bitter because it's like you, you don't like. Of course, I wasn't responsible. Nobody on Infamous was responsible for that,
yeah.
But
No one really
that's like
is
that's his
truly
own.
responsible.
That's his own stuff. Like I had no idea that anything was happening. He never opened up to like I think any of it. Maybe I think he opened up to Patty a little bit, and that's why it kind of. But honestly, that's just stuff that I barely remember. So don't. None of that's like I don't know. But it's just I know it really affected some people badly. For me, it didn't really affect me at the time. Looking back, it does kind of affect me because like you know I don't know. That was back when I still like Alan is toxic, and But it's just I don't know. It's unfortunate, Like, but at the same time, people got to look past it, And sure, maybe doing this maybe like helps spread the word, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that like someone's dead. Just talking
It
about it
doesn't
casually, it's like
it doesn't
or not
fix
even
anything.
casually. It's just yeah,
It
and I'm
doesn't
just
bring
like Yeah, not even bring him back. It's just like, I think it's good that they memorialized him like that. I mean, I think they did that in like Siege. They did it in other games, right? But at
Yeah,
the same time, you like, talking about it on a podcast like that. It's just, I don't really know. It's not. I don't know. It's just a story. Whether
it
people
is
know the information. I mean, but maybe it's good. Maybe
important.
knowing that what
Important
that call out represents. It's like, yeah,
it puts a little more meaning into it, and I think
yeah,
it definitely didn't brighten my day, but it definitely made me go like, huh, like the more you know, like you know what I mean, like I didn't know the guy. I've never talked to him, and I've almost talked to every single player
yeah.
in this league, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
barely remember his voice. Like it was. This was like 2 years. Yeah, I can't believe I've been here for like 2 years almost. Maybe
dude, yeah,
not three, but
it's
it's definitely been like at least 2.5. So it's been a while.
it's crazy. It's crazy to
Yeah,
think that we devoted
yeah.
this much time
When I
to
first started playing, I was
the
like,
game.
13, 14. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's or no, yeah. I think wow. So maybe it has been like 3. Yeah, I think it's been 3 years. So
okay,
yeah, that's actually wow. Yeah,
yeah.
but
So
yeah,
I think it's just nice to let people know that there's meaning behind it.
yeah,
It isn't just X cap. You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's a meaning behind it, and I think if something has meaning, it has a lot more meaning. Uh,
Yeah, like if you call forklift just because it's a forklift.
yeah,
But
like
it's
it's
like,
nothing, but if you know you have that
yeah,
there,
but like this, at least it's something. It's. I think it's good. But
and
anyways, can we like move past it though? Like or like
yeah. Well,
next guy?
let's move on because that it's a little bit of a sad topic. So let's
Yeah.
move into something a little bit more brighter. Uh, Black Ice's previous season. How do you think they did?
Honestly, I don't really keep track of a lot of
Mm,
teams. Like not even my the ones I've previously been on. I mean, like half the teams I've been on died. But I don't know. Black Ice. I don't know. I bet they did pretty good. Like
they
I don't.
did.
What they get in Challenger Cup? If I remember, they probably did that, right?
They didn't compete it in
They
it.
didn't. Oh,
So what ended up happening is, and there should be changes in my opinion. But what ended up happening is they didn't have enough players. I think they had four.
oh,
And a few teams thought they couldn't compete in it. Uh, I know that my team personally had four for the first match, and then we got five in the middle of it, and we fought till the very end. Really, we went 10 and or we lost 10-9 to Cream of the Clutch with four players. So we tried our hardest, like we really did. But
yeah,
Black Ice, I guess, didn't really compete because they didn't have enough players because of the time
yeah.
and whatnot. Um, but their score, they played, think, I think they played Arctic and they did really well. And I'm like 90% sure I casted that game if they did play against them. So
Okay.
checking right now, they ended up 11th place and
Well, that's pretty good.
they did play Arctic.
Worldwide or East? Worldwide or
Uh,
East?
uh, NA. NA is now
Okay.
one thing,
Oh, now
right?
it's just one. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's great for them. Yeah.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think
And
back when I was on it, we were like 20, or like less than that. I wasn't, I didn't really help with that. So that's really good. Yeah, if you
yeah,
guys are watching, that's really good for you guys. That's great. It's great to know. And Knifewing that, yeah, Knifewing that. No, Kyle's the IGL, and Knifewing was just captain, right? But either
no,
way, I know that
Kyle's
there's a captain
captain,
chain. Yeah.
Kyle is
Oh, Knifewing
IGL.
is
No, he's
no,
both. Unless they
he's
just
both.
changed that, but he's
I
both.
thought. Oh wait, no, no, yeah, so never mind. So yeah, Kyle. Originally as a joke, I had Terminator put as captain, which I don't know. I feel Terminator. He's a fun player.
Oh yeah,
And I
he's
don't
fun
know.
to
I
play.
think like I don't know. I just think that like everybody I've tried to get because like Red Yellow Blue used to be on that, and he helped us get like Jazz, for show for a little bit. But once Red left, then but we had a lot of people leave and a lot of people join. But I think the main members that like really stayed were the ones that I helped to get in. Like
Yeah.
Crackward. Crackward, he's like I remember when I first saw him in Open Pav and also in recruitments. Like everybody else said, "Oh, you want Crackward and Ghost Penguin?" And I was like, "Yeah, they have a lot of potential. They might not be good now, but they're going to be great." And look,
I mean,
I mean, Ghost Penguin, he kind of ghosted everybody literally. I haven't talked to him in like a month or like a lot.
Crackward just joined Redacted. So
Did he? Wait,
yeah, he
what? I
did.
don't know about that.
Yeah, he just joined the Redacted. So
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Well,
I mean he's a really good player. He
yeah,
made I think Redacted did do better this season, but I think only by 1 or 2 place spots. But I think
yeah, but
but he,
so yeah.
he did really well. He was a good player, and I think he
Yeah,
definitely
Crackwood's great, you know, and
brought
he's
him in
not
there.
just skill; it's like just his personality is great. It's very
It
funny.
is funny.
So
Um,
yeah,
but yeah,
but
okay. So really,
yeah,
let me get my questions out because this is a lot harder in VR, and I need to figure out a better system for this. But
I don't know. You could just be fluid about it, you know. Learn how to just,
remember things
you know,
never
yeah,
happening,
remember things.
never happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, here we go. This is a this is a really good one right here. I What is Pavlov dogs? Can you can
I
you
remember that.
can you can
Yeah,
you
Jaffum, if you're watching, come on. So what happened was Jaffum approached me one time, or not approached me. I found him in a lobby, right? And he was like talking about, oh yeah, he's gonna make a series, like you know, like a TV series, quote unquote TV, like a series, like a web
an
series.
episodic series? Yeah.
Yeah, like a web series, and in Pavlov. And I was like, oh hey, that might be great. You know, I did a drama elective back in middle school. I'm totally qualified. So, anyways, I ended up convincing him to be the like co-director or whatever, or for me being co-director and he was director and all that, right? And what happened was we started recording stuff. It had a great, like, I wouldn't say great
Well, okay,
writing,
okay, okay,
but
okay.
it
Hold up,
was
hold up. Wait. Before we get into that, let just give everybody an overview of what it really was about. Um.
uh, I don't want to spoil anything. Not like
Okay.
there's much to spoil.
Okay.
Like,
But
he's
like if
planning on
you
trying to do it like at some point. But
but
AKA,
what
it's
was
just
it
about
about? Like who were the main characters? And what was
um
the overarching backstory? Like what was its
some
like?
backstory. It's like a so real life. So there's like real life, and then there's Pavlov, quote unquote. And what it was is that it would be a mix of real life, like quote unquote real life, where AKA we just had the player models move around and talk, and then they each have their own characters. We had a bunch of people cast different characters. We had a bunch of stuff, and it's supposed to be kind of like sitcom, right? So you had the main character Ben, which I played. Or I think it was Ben. I forgot. But
I think it was Ben.
I'd play the protagonist, aka the one who's trying to get on the best team, you know. And then we had like some other guy. If you ever watch Video Game High School, that was something made. It's like a Netflix series or whatever. Jaffin kind of took inspiration from that, trying to do something like that. I think it was like I don't know, but it had like a good. It was an all right story. Okay, I think it had potential, you know. And then we got really far into it. It was really hard because we need like extras. We need a lot of time and effort to put in.
Which
It
I
took like
was
hour, 2 hours to get like 30 seconds done. Like apparently directing's pretty hard.
well,
No shocker
well,
there.
well, 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 hold up. I don't think the directing is as hard as you think it is, because being an extra on there, there definitely was a big problem with the cast. See, everybody was there just to have a good time and do this thing and be
Yeah.
friends and whatnot. And the problem is that people really didn't um do a lot of work,
Yeah,
and so
like you. I remember
oh, okay, that's
a
not what
lot
I
of
meant.
times.
That's not what I meant. I
Okay.
meant as in they would screw around or screw off and get people offside. I was an extra, so I didn't do any of that. I knew my place. I sat.
Well,
Oh, hold
I
up. I
remember.
sat there and did nothing except for what I was told. Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't
I
argue with them.
remember,
I
but there
didn't do
were
anything.
points where like you kind of stepped over, like when somebody started messing around, you'd shoot them and then you ruined the scene. Like I remember that was at one point.
No, 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 no. That's not what happened. No,
Okay,
what happened was you're mixing that up with two different times. So there was
maybe.
one time when I got angry at everyone because I was told I'm tired. I'm not playing a major role in this, and I don't want to be here for too long. And everybody's just fucking around. And then there was another time where you guys needed me to kill the main character in Pavlov, and you were gonna create a whole scene around uh whatnot. I'm not gonna spoil about it, and
Yeah,
I just couldn't get it down. I couldn't get you guys what you wanted because I kept killing the wrong person at the wrong
I
time,
think you
or
shot me at one point instead of the other guy.
Yeah,
I remember
I
correctly.
I
Yeah,
shot the wrong person, and it's because
like
they didn't
three
have
times.
name
It's
tags, right? Like I couldn't get it right, so they got someone else to do it, and they how they liked it and whatnot.
yeah,
Um, but point being is, I think overall the cast were not the most uh
yeah,
get stuff done fun later type people. They were all about
yeah,
just whatever. And that's fine, but at the end of the day, I think I think in my opinion what I saw, I'm going to, it's an opinion, it's not a fact. It made everything so much harder, and it definitely showed that
yeah.
it was less motivation.
Eventually, Japham kind of just like Japham was the main guy. He was gonna edit everything, and he was so motivated at the beginning of it, and he was still motivated until about the end point when people just like, we only had like a couple scenes left, and then he was like, and then it just kept getting stuck, and people took so long. It took like an hour to film like one scene. Okay, it just took forever. So what ended up happening is we just kind of stagnated, and then eventually nothing happened. Then I messaged Japham like I think like a couple weeks ago, and then I asked him like, hey, what about it? And like, or I think I was in like a Discord call with him. He was like, yeah, I don't know, not now or whatever. Like he just sounded like very I think he's just tired of it. Like it took so long, and he's put so much time into it. It's the same with me. I put a
I
fair bit of time, and just have people mess around and do nothing, and then take like 3 hours when something could be done in like 10 minutes. It's just I don't know. It makes everybody not motivated. So
Sure.
I
I
understand them.
think
So,
I think a bit of recasting would be due if you wanted to get back into that. I think so.
yeah,
The people, there were certain people that did what they were supposed to and did it how they were, and they did well. But there were some people who just didn't really care too much and didn't realize that this was something that people wanted to get done. Not
yeah,
like it wasn't all fun. It was fun in the fact that it got done and that you could see
yeah,
what like it was supposed to be a job. Like you were supposed to
yeah,
work and do
yeah,
something,
and
and then
it
see
was
see
just
what
community
after
work.
it.
You weren't gonna
Yeah,
get anything out of it. It was
exactly.
just for fun. And then spending like 6 months on something for fun, and then to still not be done because it could have been done. I feel honestly, it could have been done in like 3 months. Okay,
I
but
I
it took
I agree
six
with
months,
that.
and we got like 3/4 of the way done, and then just all that mounting, yeah. And I think half the people in that don't really want to do it anymore. So if we're gonna revive it, legitimately, we need brand new people. We need to restart everything because, like, maybe keep some stuff, but it was such a
I think I
process.
think a few scenes could definitely be kept.
Yeah,
But a lot of the scenes with voice actors and whatnot, if you're gonna have to change it, then you're gonna need to
yeah,
redo scenes. But I think if you get the right people, people who are interested and people who want to see something like this, go out. Because I know for me with this podcast, like I'm not gonna let someone on here who's it is just a conversation between people.
yeah,
But if you're gonna go off on this tangent and talk over people or something like that, it's not gonna
yeah.
work. Like I'm not gonna upload that episode. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not gonna
you
happen.
you need to have people who can talk to people. You can't just have like a potato sitting here, at like just like a rock or something, just something that like barely talks, and you can't have somebody who's legitimately a loudspeaker who just talks over everybody. You have to have a good balance. You have to have a megaphone made out of rocks. you know,
Okay, I
like
you
that
you
type of
you
thing.
you you almost got the point across.
I
Like
almost got it. All right, A for effort. Wait, E for effort. But yeah,
E for everyone, cause
yeah,
cause everyone didn't get that. Anyway,
exactly. But yeah,
but yeah, like you just need people. You just need to find people who are more dedicated to it, and I think that's not gonna be too hard. I think the hard part is going to be able to get over the fact that you're not going to get the perfect voice or the perfect person who has the best acting. But I think
yeah,
that what you will get is people who are dedicated and will actually be able to get you to get through it. Japham,
yeah.
if you're watching this, which I saw you
Bring back
reacted,
Pavlov
bring
dogs.
back Pavlov's dogs.
I
Okay.
want look legitimately. What I remember, it was legitimately only me and Merp who still need to do some scenes, and we need one more as like a group or something. Legitimately, if we're that close and you still have everything on like a PDF or not on PDF on a like a hard
Hard
drive
drive.
disk or USB or whatever, I'm still down to do that. Okay, I'm fairly certain Merp is too. So
And
just tell me a time and place, and I'm ready. All right, just And if we need anybody else, a fairly similar explosion, we might be able to get. Um,
100%. I'll be down to
yeah,
do whatever
yeah,
work for this Pavlov community. This is why I did the whole podcast, is to add to the community and whatnot. Like,
yeah.
like I'm always down to do any of that type of stuff. Even if it's for nothing. Well, not nothing in the case of not uploading anything, but I mean, no pay, no reward. It's just I
Yeah,
I get a product out of it. I get a web series, and that would be nice.
yeah.
Uh,
It's just something fun, you know. It's not even something serious. It's just like you're not gonna get money out of it. And I mean, if you do, well, wow, you made it. But if you don't, it's just whatever.
You're in the big league, kid.
Yeah,
Look
but
forward.
it's like I don't know. It's yeah. But yeah, Jeff, I'm ready for that if you know. But
I'm ready for the call. Just whenever you
yeah,
need me.
yeah, just call us sometime, preferably soon. But if it takes a couple years, maybe. You know,
Once Pavlov looks completely different, right? And there's new maps.
once we're all playing and like when we're plugged into those like Elon Musk chairs, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
we're
yeah.
all like
It's like plugged
sitting
into
down
your
and it's like
ear.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you have like a giant spike through your head that's just like that trans information and stuff and I don't know. Cyberpunk. When it's 2077 in real life, that's when we'll have Pavlov docs.
Yeah, but I mean, really, like last thing before we quickly move on, um, you know, projects like that are definitely really hard in this community. But I think if you have people who are really devoted, and I'm not saying Japham, you weren't devoted. Clearly, from Alan's point of
he
view,
was.
you
He
you
was.
really
You
were.
were. You were
You
to
didn't
such
have
an
the
extent.
you did not have the best people to work with, and I think if
Yeah.
I think instead you just need to go at it at a different way, where it's something that you actually get like work out of it, and you get the reward of being able to see progress in
Yeah.
building something. I think
Yeah.
it's definitely possible. Moving on. That was such an interesting topic. I was so ready. I really wanted to see what your answer was and what you were going to talk about it and whatnot. I was really excited for that.
Okay.
Um,
Well, glad that you're super excited. Right?
I just think it was juicy. It was a juicy topic that
Yeah.
needed to be said. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, I heard you had a few questions for me
Yeah. Why are you Spider-Man out of anything? I chose McCree because it has like meaning,
because
but like, why are you Spider-Man?
Kirby didn't fit here.
Okay. Well, why would you choose Kirby? What makes you think like Kirby is like?
Because
Yeah.
okay. If I had any avatar to pick, it'd be Catbug. But
Be what?
Catbug, It's in my profile picture. It's in the bottom right of it. Of
I I
it's
don't know what that is.
it's half cat, half ladybug. It's a little kid voice acts it, right, and it's the most adorable, deadliest thing ever. Okay, it's not like deadly, but like he literally is just okay. Fuck you. Anyway,
Okay.
I just love him. He is the exact embodiment of what kept me going. Um, when it comes to like my angerment, like something that he said in one episode was just everything is okay, and he said it in his the cat bug voice and whatnot,
Well, I mean, if it
and
helps you, all
it
power
was
to you. You know.
it
So
was like a big motivation to me. Every time I looked at that picture, it told me that like everything is okay and whatnot. Like it was good for me. But
yeah.
anyway, Kirby's just literally my favorite Nintendo game ever. Just my personal favorite, the best. I love the character, always have, um, and whatnot, and that's why I would be Kirby. But as you saw in the little bloopers reel or the pre-show, um,
He's a little short.
Kirby's a little squishy little blob, and he was
He's a little
about
more to scale of how
he was a,
Explosion actually like his actual height.
okay. Listen here, how tall are you, little? How tall are you?
I'm not gonna disclose that, but
Oh
let's just say
yeah,
I'm not that tall.
short. I'm taller than you. Shut up.
Wait, how tall are you?
I'm 6 foot
Really?
without
Well,
shoes.
okay, I'm smaller than 6 foot. That's I'll say that.
Ah, you small. Anyway,
Yeah,
Kirby was about all the way up to here flying.
yeah.
So I couldn't use him because I won the episode, and I did. And the only other good Spider-Man thing I had changed too many colors, too many, and it was too much of distraction. So I just went with the classic homemade suit.
Yeah, he would have had to put an epileptic seizure warning
Oh
from the
yeah,
sheer amount of just
YouTube would have flagged it for
high
epileptic seizures and
stuff.
whatnot, and I didn't want to get into that whole
Yeah.
situation.
Like think like
Anyway,
a disco ball, but like
but like really bad.
yeah. Yeah.
So, any other questions you want to ask me?
I mean, yeah, are there any more questions for me?
No, but there are a few open-ended discussions like we've had before.
Alright. I mean, I'm down. Just I
So
don't know.
so what do we think this podcast is gonna become? Are you gonna make millions from this?
Uh yeah, totally. Yep, definitely. This thing has definitely not been done before. It's definitely completely innovative. Yep, totally gonna
I
make
think
millions.
I think there's no such thing as a Pavlov podcast. There's a podcast is not an original thing, but the whole
Yeah,
Pavlov part of it about how
yeah,
it's mainly about Pavlov and it's Pavlov things and people who play Pavlov.
yeah.
It's about people who are in the VRML. I think that's in itself is an
I don't
original
think we should
idea.
just stick to Pavlov though, like
I
forever.
maybe not forever, but for now, it's really like the whole name
Yeah,
is Pavlov Scrubs. Like it's got its
yeah,
branding, its thing. It's supposed to be about the people who play in the VRML or played
yeah.
in the
And
VRML.
I think we should really like specify on like the people part to it, not necessarily like sure there could be team beat team. You can talk about how rec versus thinking and all that stuff, but same time there's people behind it. If we interview those people and have those people come in and explain like their points, their views, their everything, what they think, not just a panel but just them, that's
Yeah,
perfect. I think
yeah, the
it's a good
person.
idea.
It gets you to know the real person that's
Yeah, it helps the
behind what they
community
say.
get to know the person because I think most people when they see me, it's like, oh yeah, he's a cowboy that shoots things. Yeah, that's he has a
He's
slightly annoying voice,
he's the
but other than
Westerner that holds two guns of any kind.
yeah, yeah. And then, but like after like all this, I feel like maybe you'll have a little bit better idea of like what I am, who I
Yeah,
am, just all that,
you got a base out of it. You got
Yeah,
a base person out of it. You don't know really who he is, but you understand him a little bit more. And that's the whole hope of this podcast. Like when I was asking people, or not asking people, but in the last podcast, like it was all about Pavlov, right? And I definitely could have changed it, but that was also a first episode. I didn't edit in a background. It wasn't even edited. It was literally
it
as
was just a black screen
yeah,
that was just
as soon as it was
voice.
done, up recording, a few hours later, I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna upload it. It's gonna be a pilot. We're gonna see how it's gonna go. And if it does good, just because if the questions isn't good, if the base content, the whole reason why it's a podcast isn't good, then it's not gonna get people aren't gonna give you good feedback, and that's what I
But there's
want.
a community here, and the
Yeah,
community I feel right now is pretty much like sure a lot of people do talk with other like groups, but people usually stick to their group. Like the MWL people, are at my waifu list. And I think they're my escape from Tarkov list now or whatever. But
yeah.
they branch out, but they stick themselves. Same with Arctic.
I
Same with
mean,
especially Arctic, they kind of like sick themselves, but they still talk to people. But you really get to know people inside your own like family, your group, you know.
yeah. I mean,
But then
everybody
this,
knows each other, right? It's that one little
yeah,
neighborhood that, like, oh yeah, like I know this person, but I don't talk to them. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But
Like,
sometimes people get like a wrong impression of a person. Like I've seen, so I'm not gonna say names, but like certain people just get a lot of hate or they get a lot of stuff. And if you just have a medium for people to prove their point, you can either reinforce the claims of what other people are like, like egg
hating
you
on.
on for stuff like
Yeah,
that, or like you can also disprove the claims. You can be like, maybe somebody thinks, "Oh, you're really annoying. I dislike how you are or something, right?" And you can have a more, you get to know the person, right? And you get to like actually like form a good opinion on the person, not just from what you hear or what you see, but from what they are. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just a good idea.
And I think it's the best way to go about this whole thing.
Yeah,
Um. So, I mean, if you don't have anything else to add to that, I think this is a perfect stopping point. I think this is great. So, if you don't have
yeah.
anything else to add,
Definitely mention the fact this is a stopping point. Yep,
I mean,
yep.
well,
We're
the idea
stopping
should
right
always
now. See this? We are stopping.
no, 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 not right now, but
Yeah, but soon.
but soon, like you'll see
Eventually.
eventually.
See like a big outro, full cinematic
Well, okay,
CGI epicness. He's gonna edit it all, so it's
hold up. No, I can't. I don't do all that stuff. Hold up. No, no.
yeah.
Don't.
He's an expert editor. Like he can make this entire room into like another room. You know, all
No,
this stuff. Yeah.
I have a guy who does this, and he does it for free because he's my friend. Like
Yeah, just tell him to make the entire room like another room, and then add like a bunch of VFX and stuff. Like have like a dinosaur right there. Okay, stuff like that. You know?
If you pay the man $5, he'll probably do it. Probably not.
Is it Crumb?
No.
Crumb editor? No.
You don't know him. Crumb. I don't think Crumb would want to edit this. He gets he gets a lot of money from this, or not a whole lot, but
I remember he like edited
bucks
Chillsup's
from
video,
one
or like a video for Chillsup for like some money. He told me it was like a fair bit actually. So
yeah.
Oh, good on him though. Like if he's making money, yeah. But
let's save that for the episode with Crumb. Anyway.
Yeah, with Crumb, yeah.
I've been your host, Explosion. This is your.
I've been your co-host, Alan, and
this is
so
Scrubs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
See you guys. So yeah, was you cut now or? Yeah.
No.
Cut.
Well, yeah, it's cut. Okay. I hate you. I fucking hate you.
What do you mean you hate me?
I hate you. I'm only
It's still recording, right?
I'm only.
Keep this in.
Shit. Good. Okay, so it started. Let me get my paper. Just real quick, let me get my paper.
Okay.
Because I wrote all my shit down and it's in my room. Be right back. Talk to the camera you want. We can add this to bloopers.
Great podcast you have here. Gotta be honest with you. This robot hand is pretty cool. Do you like that? I think hands can do that normally. Your chat is weird.
Okay.
So, you ready?
No, I'm never ready. I'm always procrastinating. That's why they call me the procrastinator.
Okay.
What happened to my camera again? God. Fucking damn it. I don't know. Anyway, we already know what it used to look like. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let me pick up
Quality. See, this man is the definition of quality podcasts.
Dude, this is why my podcast got 140 and yours got 30. Okay.
Mine was unlisted. And
fair enough.
Yeah. But
Fair enough. You know what? At
Yeah.
least my avatar doesn't have a fucked up thumb.
Yeah. It's great.
You know what? I want people to know me by what I really represent.
Okay. You're sitting in the chair. I can't even see you. You're flying right now.
I'm flying. Shit. Fuck, I can't beat this. Damn it. Okay, okay.
Maybe you can just get a stool, get like a bunch of pillows and sit on top of it.
Okay, we're just gonna have to go. Cause I don't want anything too flashy. So this is the exact opposite of flashy.
Why? No, I'm kidding. All right.
I think it's nice. Okay.
So you ready?
No, I'm never ready. I'm always procrastinating. That's why they call me the procrastinator.
Okay.
What happened to my camera again? God. Fucking damn it. I don't know. Anyway, we already know what it used to look like. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let me pick up my
Quality.
phone. Okay, I'm not editing that out either. We're gonna start with that.
Well, first rule is not to edit stuff out when you're doing a pod. Everything natural.
Everything is natural, but like the first 3 minutes where I had to go grab my phone to get
Yeah, we could use that. Yep, that's quality podcasts
that is
right
not a quality podcast.
Yeah, everybody loves the thrilling 3 minutes of getting ready for a podcast before the actual
That's
podcast.
why the
So,
Misfits charge people $20 just to watch them set it up.
really,
No, they do like a pre-show, I think, but sometimes I think in its early stages, it was really just them talking about whatever the fuck, and they had their people just setting this shit up. My coffee.
okay,
Okay. Anyway, once I sit in this chair, the podcast officially begins. Are you ready?
sure. What?
Sorry.